Okay, so we have 2 minutes fast. So let's start. So just to recap what we discussed this week. So till this time, we have discussed about the installation parts, hardware requirements, software requirements, right? And also we discussed about the installation steps and the prerequisites. Then after the installation, how to add the systems into SAP login pad, then how to log into the SAP systems. So where the SAP will come, what is required to log into the SAP system. You require the SAP GUI or SAP, the login pad is required. So then we are discussing about the work process. We discussed about the dispatcher, then dialog, then update, then NQ locking mechanism. So then update NQ, be background jobs. So then so for the message server we discussed up to here. The message server will perform the logon load balancing. So if multiple application servers are there, it will route the request to the respective server, respective application server where we have the less load. It will process the your request here, right? So it will work based upon the logon groups which we created in the system, right? And background jobs. This is one of the important topic, background jobs here. So background jobs to run the programs in the back end without manual intervention, without user interference. So it will run in the back end. First time we have to schedule it. Then after that, as per the timelines, this will run automatically. This will run automatically in the systems here. This background work process, right? It will run in the backend without user intervention here. So normally this will be used in the multiple purpose here, right? So in the banking sector, like otherwise in the payroll sectors. So then many where we will use the background job. One time if you schedule it every month, we will get the salaries, everything, right? So NQ and background jobs update, all these process are very important, basic process. It's all are the basic one to understand how you are logging to the SAP system. When you are logging to the SAP system, so what is happening in the backend? Which work process will take your request? So dispatcher, then dispatcher will hand over to the dialog. So dialog work process will process your entire user flow and everything. After that, if you done any transaction, dialog will update into the will inform to the update. Update will update the records into the database table level. Then suppose same user, if you want to run some job, if you want to schedule one background job, some payroll job, something, he will use the as a background job here. Then same as like suppose there the multiple user request, there is only one application server, the load is very high. Then in this case we can use the message server, ASS instance. So we can create the one more application server to distribute the load among the application servers, right? So that will be used here. So the next one, which we are going to discuss about the gateway work process here. So the gateway work process, what is the main example of and main advantage of the gateway work process is it will enables the communication between work process and external programs. Communication between the work process and from different instances and so it will establish the communication gateway. One simple example, gateway security, right? So suppose if you go to the some celebrities homes and some other homes in apartments, in front of the gate one security guard is there, one security guard, right? Gateway security. What is his duty? His duty is if any person is coming, so if it's the valid person, he will allow the connections to the inside of the home, right? Suppose this is a SIB system. Here there is a gateway work process will sits here, right? So if any person is coming from outside, any connection is coming from the outside to the SAP, then this gateway work process will check, okay, you are a valid connection, then will allow you to inside of the system to access the SAP and everything. to log in. You are not a valid connection, gateway will reject your connection so that you will not able to log into the SAP system, right? So here gateway work process will enable the communication between work process and the external programs, as well as the communication between the work process from different instances and everything here. So here a dedicated the process within the gateway component. This is the dedicated work process in the gateway to handle the incoming request which is coming to the SAP incoming request from the external applications. There are some external applications, external systems, external applications. There are a lot of things. There are a lot of business server means it's not only one system here. There are multiple systems will communicate to the your system. Multiple systems will communicate to this system via gateway. Means they seem like multiple persons, different cities, they will come to your home via your gate only, right? They will enter into their home via gateway only. So if the gateway work process is not enough, maybe gateway is there is no gate already opened, then anybody can come to your home and they will crash your systems and data and they will theft your data, whatever they will do it here, right? Essentially, it will act as a communication bridge between the external systems and the SAP landscape here, right? So that is the main thing here. So here communication protocols, monitoring and incoming request, authentications, background process and processing, the response delivery. So the multiple work process running simultaneously on the high volume of the request. So that kind of things will be handled by the gateway work process here, right? So here, what we have to check here, there is a transaction code for the gateway SMGW. SMGW is the transaction code. Here we need to check the gateway, how the gateway is running. Are there any disconnections in your gateway? Suppose if you go to the one of the your ECC system here or one of the your groups network group systems here, basis user client is locked against login. So someone when the client copies wrong client copies, it's locked the client. Client will be locked if you do the something wrong. So your client will be locked here. So that is the one of the important thing here. See here it is locked already. Everything is got locked. Let's use the ECD. So here SMGW is the transaction code. Here we can monitor the connections. So normally if any external connections are there, here it will display the information here. So let me see if any connections in the S4 systems. Let me see here. SMGW. So here we may, we will see the sum of the items here, right? See the connections here, right? So there is the gateway connection name here, user, and the connection which is connected to which application server, how it is connected, which protocol it is using. Here we can find out the some connections here, right? We can see the some connections, how it is using, right? So if the more number of login, then more number of logins will be there here, right? So here we can see that the limitations of the connections, maximum 2000 connections per application server. For this home, for this KPS4 HANA MCD04 instance, only 2000 connections are allowed. If you want, we can increase the connections, but there is a standard values we have to maintain. So it will allow the, so inside of the system. So which means in this home, there are only 2000 users are allowed to stay in this home. If the 2001 is coming, then gateway will reject that connections. The user is unable to log in here. There is a one cross question you will get. Users are unable to log into the your system, but existing users are able to work. One typical question. Existing already logged in users are able to log in and working on that one, but the new users they are unable to log in. In that case, what could be the reason? This is the one of the compulsory question you may get during the interview point of time. You got it right? So new users are unable to log into the system, but existing users can work. What does it mean?
Connection limit breached.
Yes, right, exactly. You immediately you need to know,
No.
okay, system is up and running, existing users are working fine means there is no issues. So somewhere the limit has been breached here. So where is the limit here? Gateway limitations. Gateway is the limit. There we can check the, okay, gateway limit is breached. So we can check it out. And as per this one, so as per this transaction code, we need to check the connections status here. If the connection is okay, connected, that's fine. Sometimes what happens due to the some communication issues, some suddenly network issues, what happens? The user session is disconnecting status. It is not completely disconnected. It's not completely connected. Only disconnecting status in middle. So some due to some issues that will happen. So in that case, what we can do, we can select that. So we can daily as part of the daily, we need to check the connection status here. We can select it. Then what we can do, we can delete that connection. We can delete that connection here. We can delete that connections which are important. We can delete that connection which are not connected or it's in the unconnected status. So we can delete that connection. When you delete that connection, so connections will be free. Connections will be free here. So like this, so we can check the connections. We can check the connections traces which which connections our gateway is rejecting. All the information we can check it out here. All the things gateway, all the connections. See, admin disconnect. We disconnected the connections. So we can check all the information in the gateway log file here. Gateway log file. We can check all the information and everything here, right? So this is only thing we can do it in the gateway. So some other companies, especially for the banking sector, some other finance companies, they will clearly restrict the connections as well here. Here, some people they will go with these connections fine. Okay, they will use the gateway as is. They will, as part of the daily monitoring, we will check the if any disconnections are there, then we will delete that connections and everything. That is part of the monitoring. So sometimes it's a banking sector customer means very crucial, right? So we should avoid those kind of things here. So then in this case, people will ask you to configure the external security, more external security here. So which means, so the login, which users they want to log in, that login users also we can change it here. So see here, P is equal to user star means P means permit. P means P is equal P permit and user equal to star, all the users, right? Then if you maintain the only Ravi user can log into the SAP system, no other users. TP means their laptop versions, their laptop IP address or their laptop host name. So some customers, their laptop host name is like my company. So company name it will come, like suppose like, so company one, company two, company Ravi, or like that laptop name will come. If you maintain this like this, only there are local IP, local host name will starts with the company, starts with the prefix like company, then it will only allow that kind of things here. P means permit, it will allow the permits. P means permit, D means deny. If you select the D, then it will reject all the connections here, right? So P means permit, then D means deny. Then you can use the Ravi means only Ravi user login. Sir, I don't want to like this. I want all the users should log in from anywhere, any device. Then you can use from the star star star. So that star means all. Anybody can log into your SAP systems. Any username, any laptop address, any IP, they can log into your systems. This is the RFC destinations. So this is the users to log in. Second for Eginfo file activations. This is kind of a dangerous settings in your SAP. Okay, if you don't do properly this assessment, so entire your system maybe it will reject all the connections here. So here carefully we need to plan these settings here. Normal, that's why some companies they won't enable this second for Eginfo files. So ACL files, normally we will call it as the ACL file here, access control list file here. We can control that users as well here. sir, this is a business system. Anybody can log into the my system who is having the proper user ID and password. They can log into the my server and they can do the transactions. In that case, you don't touch these things. So suppose this is a finance system, there is a restricted security. Then in this case, you can maintain the ASIC info again for maintain the files so that only the restricted people can log into the your SAP systems. That's kind of things we can do it in the systems. So this kind of external security, but this is kind of some crucial settings here. Maintain the ACL files, external security ACL files, and everything here, right? So that is the one important thing here, right? So that is the most important thing settings here. So normally you can ignore, you can leave the gateway as is by default. So if you go to the GW, what we do? So just check the any connections are active status or connection status, that is fine. If something wrong, that time you can just make it. So then you can check the settings here. So this is the gateway. SMGW is the transaction code for the gateway connections and settings here, right? So then, uh, so as part of your duties are what we do as part of our daily activity in the gateway. So as I mentioned here, we need to check the status, okay, the connection table status, and so this one we have to check it out here. If anything is coming to the near to maximum, then we need to check what's happening in your gateway. So connections are coming more, then there are the parameters limits, we can increase it so to extend these functionalities. So normally we won't face anything, but sometimes maybe there are more than 2000 connections will come in the one application server. That time 2001 is coming, then immediately your gateway will reset that connection. Why? Because the limit is only maximum 2000. So it will reject the other connections here. So here we can find out the connection ID, protocol, which protocol, and when it is well established the connection here, what is the connection status, who is the user. So what the remote TP name, TP name means their IP details and everything here, right? That information will be displayed. That information will be displayed here, right? That is the main thing here. Let me check, are there any dumps here? Yes. Okay, this is about the gateway work process here. Okay, every application server we have a gateway. Every application server we have a gateway work process which will do their duty. Which will do their duty here. Same log file we can open from MMC also here. We can see the gateway, how the gateway is connecting. Is there any failed connections here? Is there any connection failed, connection refused? Sometimes the connection will be refused here. So we can check all kind of symptoms in the systems. Connection refused means there is a connection is coming from 118. Connection is coming from the 118. What is this 118? And IP address. What is this IP and what is this port? 3233. This is the message server port number. So what is this connection? What is this is for 118? So we can check this IP where this connection is coming here. So maybe ping this one, we can check the what is this IP here. So maybe can us look up where this connection is coming. So this connection is from the HYD DNS Act Corp. Okay, that is fine. But which system this IP? So we can find out. So we can find out the IP details. So where this connection is coming here, 118. This is the ECD, right? This is the ECD system connections, right? So 118, the IP is the 118 here. The connection is broken. So like this, we can check the all the information in the systems here, right? So this way we can find out the what's happening in the systems and everything here.
So for this RFC connection also required, right?
Yeah,
To
yeah,
allow
RFC connection also.
TCP IP.
Yes. So to connect one system to other system, that RFC connection also is required. We have to establish the RFC connection too. That is the RFC administration part. Why? Because business means it's not only just one system. You have the multiple peripheral systems, which in the account or across the world, It will connect to the from your system to this system to this system, this system to this system, like this. So multiple communications will happen in the organizations. So which means multiple systems will talk to one each other to exchange the data between the systems here. So we have to support all the systems. Business means it's not only one system. When you log into the Amazon, Amazon is not only one Amazon. Then when you book the order, it will go to the payment gateway to the banking site, means Amazon to banking server. Then banking server to confirmation, you will get the payment gateway. Payment gateway to the your again Amazon site. So there are multiple data is exchanging, right? So same as like here also, multiple things will happen in the servers as well. Okay, that's the thing here. The next one, pool work process. I think we have the less strength. Okay, let's discuss pool work process about on Monday. So yeah, that's it for today. Any questions, anyone?
Ravi, I think the parameters, right? The connection limit.
Yes.
I could see a few options like current, top, and maximum. What is
Yes.
top
Current
actually?
means which are the current usage, currently which are the active. Three are active. Top in a day, what is the connection top limit it is going? So 9 connections the top limit. So but
Okay.
maximum how much it is permissible. So 2000 connections are permissible.
Okay.
In other systems, there is no this value actually top value. There is no only
Okay.
suppose if I take it to the ECC. So ECC, if you take the ECC, we have ECC here, only 0, current and maximum, current and maximum. In S4HANA, just they have added the one more line item. Means top means in average in a day, what is the top it is going here. In this way,
Okay.
we can come to know, okay, 2000 means that's fine. Why? Because daily the top is 9 only. So that's fine actually, like this. Daily average limit.
Okay. What are the regular issues? I mean, regular issues. I mean,
Normally in the gateway, we won't face any regular issues in the gateway.
oh, okay.
Gateway is very sensitive. We won't face any issues. In case of if you configure the some external functions, external gateway, that time we may face it sometimes.
Okay.
So that time what will happen? So when you configure it, that connection is that user limit is not there. So when you enable this one, sometimes other connections will unable to talk to your system. So the connection will be rejected. Again, we have to come to here. Then we have to add that system details into the our gateway list. So that our gateway list we have to add it. So the we get gateway list to the connections list we have to add it so that so they can able to access our systems. So until we won't get anything by default, but sometimes if you enable the sectional functionalities, that time we may face it. But because sometimes rare cases, some of the connections will talk to our systems. So that time you already secured the gateway, your home gate, you already secured. So this may be a monthly once, yearly once. This connection will go to talk to your system. It will pull the data. It will give the response back to the here. But suddenly you have secured your gateway, then in this case, this gateway will reject your connection. Then the system is unable to connect it. Then these people will torture us. Like torture us means they will keep on sending the emails. We are unable to connect it to your gateway, but our gateway is fine and everything. We will check and respond it. Basically, we have enabled the settings. That's why the system IP details are rejecting here. So then we have to add this system details into the exception list so that so they can able to connect to our system.
No, if any issue, normally you would be adding in the exceptional. Like initially
Yeah,
when we set
that
up,
is the
right?
valid connection, that valid system, then we will add into the exception list.
No,
In
well, the initial setup, is it the same way that we need to add in the exception
initial
only?
setup not required. Initial setup, it
Okay.
will allow the all the connections, initial
Okay.
setup. But after
Oh,
that, so it's, you need to secure the gateway, you need to configure it. Then that time you have to restrict the connection. Initially, it will not be restricted.
okay.
Any
Okay. Yes.
connections will be allowed initially.
Okay. Initially, while we allowing like how many clients and everything, right? So we would be putting the
Right,
details, right? Initially.
right.
Okay. How many that we can add? I mean, each one has a separate entity, or we can put like a comma like that, or
No, yeah, we can put like suppose here we can create that we will call it as the secinfo reginfo files here. What we can do, if you put the star or all the users are allowed, but this is a remote connection which is coming from the other systems. Other systems means how the other systems will talk to your system. So basically other systems will talk to our systems based upon the RFC destinations. Then so that RFC connections we have to put into the exception list here. We have to put into the exception list here. So then here, yeah, put the comma how can we do that means TP is equal to that the connection name is equal to the IP address. Those things like this, we have to add that the system details here. TP.
Okay, this one they will provide the respect to remote
Yes,
system guys.
yes. Suppose now I have added these details here, right? So let me log in again. Okay, I have added the now system date. Tomorrow there is a one banking server is trying to connect my server. It's unable to access because of the I am allowed only these connections only. Except these connections, remaining connections will be rejected. So in this case, I need to add the new connection. Then click on the change button. Then so P, what is the TP name? TP name means suppose like banking server. What is the IP of the banking server? Those things I can add it. Then click on the create button here. So click on the save button. So that will be in the list. So which means which is the banking server is allowed. The banking server is allowed list here now. So
What
whatever
is the
the
cancel
systems
here?
are.
We have added same like a host equal to same IP and cancel to same IP.
Yes, same IP will be cancelled. That is fine. This is a syntax actually you have to follow.
Oh,
Access is
okay.
equal to star, which means he can access the everything in the system. So TP means their laptop or the IP, whatever it may be. Host is equal to which application server, and so which application server you should cancel, and which is cancel means it's not like the system will cancel it. It's a different functionality actually.
Okay, understand.
So maybe unfortunately if you put instead of P to D, then it will reject that connection. That connection will not be allowed. If you put the instead of P, if you put the D, sorry, I should reject this many means this will be rejected status here, which means that connection will be rejected. They will not able to connect it here. In the gateway log file, we'll see rejected list here. We can see it here. If you go to the here, then we can see the rejected list. So the connection will be rejected list. Connection will be the rejected list. Everything we will get it out. We'll come to know.
So if we change like D to P while they are getting error, do we need to restart? It's just online.
It's online changes only.
Okay.
Online changes only. No need. Gateway changes are the online only.
Okay. Noted.
That's why carefully we have to do this one. Otherwise, we may face a lot of issues.
Sir, if business requires, so can we increase the maximum
Limits.
number of
Yeah.
gateway?
We can increase to the 2000 to 4000. But at the same time, you should have enough memory also. Everything will based upon the memory in the application server here. So the connections will use the some amount of memory. So if you keep on increasing to the 10 to 12,000 and 8,000, then you should have the enough memory. The memory also should be required. So if you don't have much memory, why? Because each user will use the some amount of memory. You don't have that much of memory in the application server. It will impact the all the system, right? So as of now, system is running fine with the 2000, 3000 connections without any issues. You just increase it to the 5000. This 5000 connections will crash the other system also. The system also will crash it. Then every connection will be impacted. So that's the reason carefully we need to plan it.
So, sir, how to increase? It means we can directly increase by changing the
Parameters.
parameters.
There is a
Okay.
parameters, gateway parameters. We have to increase it.
Okay, I got it.
Does it needs to restart once you
Some
make
parameters
changes
are,
parameters?
some parameters are restart required. Yes, it does. It's required the restart.
Oh, okay. Then means we have to plan it. Okay.
Yeah. How to do that one? There is a parameters concept